Luke Harper was a mining engineer on the outer colony of New Argus. The planet was cold and quiet, filled with rocky hills and long forests. Luke liked the silence. He worked alone, fixing machines and digging for rare minerals. One day, while checking old sensors in the woods, he saw something fall from the sky. It wasn't a meteor. It moved too fast and left a glowing trail. Luke grabbed his scanner and followed the smoke. He pushed through trees and brush until he saw a small, silver pod smash into the ground. Steam hissed from broken panels. The door had burst open. Inside, he saw someone. A girl, not human. She had smooth blue skin and long dark hair. Her eyes were closed and her body was hurt. Blood, a soft silver color, stained her clothes. Luke felt fear, but also a strange pull in his chest. He stepped closer. "Hey," he said softly. "Can you hear me?" The girl didn't move. Luke looked around. It was getting dark. He didn't know who she was or what had shot her down, but he knew she would die if he left her here. He pulled off his jacket, wrapped her in it, and lifted her into his arms. She was light, almost too light. He carried her back to his outpost, heart pounding. The walk was long. He kept looking over his shoulder, unsure what might be following. At last, he reached his cabin and placed her on the old medical cot. He had only basic tools, but he did his best. He cleaned the wounds and stopped the bleeding. He stayed up all night. By morning, the girl opened her eyes. They glowed softly. Her voice was weak. "Where am I?" "Safe," Luke said. "You crashed. I found you." She tried to sit up, but winced. "Thank you." "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "REI." He nodded. "I'm Luke. You're hurt. You need rest." REI looked at the room, then at him. Her eyes studied his face. She didn't smile, but she looked calm. Days passed. Luke helped her recover. She didn't eat much, just drank water and rested. Her wounds healed fast. She told him little at first, but slowly she opened up. She was from a distant system. Her people had been peaceful, but now many were gone. A group wanted to use her body for breeding, to mix her genes with others. She had escaped. Luke didn't know what to say. The idea shocked him. "That's terrible," he said. REI looked away. "They think I am rare, that I can make new kinds of life." Luke stood in silence. He could not imagine what she had faced. That night, he sat by the fire. REI sat near the window, looking at the stars. "You could have left me," she said. "I couldn't," Luke said. "It wouldn't have been right." She looked at him again. "You are different from others I met." "I'm just a miner," he said, smiling. But inside, something was changing. One night, loud sounds came from the trees. Drones flew over the cabin. REI jumped to her feet. "They found me," she said. Luke grabbed his old tools. He told her to hide in the storage room. The drone scanned the cabin, then fired small blasts. Luke fought them off, breaking one with a metal rod and smashing another into the wall. The last one fled. REI stepped out, her hand shaking. "You fought for me," she said. "Of course," Luke said, catching his breath. After that, REI trusted him more. They moved to a hidden shelter deeper in the forest. Luke used old mining maps to find a cave once used as a supply station. There they stayed for weeks. Luke learned more about her. REI liked to watch birds. She sang quiet songs in her own language. Sometimes she would touch his arm and say things he didn't understand. Her voice was warm. One morning, REI looked at Luke and said, "You saved me. You made me feel safe." Luke felt something deep inside. He reached out, gently touching her hand. "I'm glad you came here," he said. She looked into his eyes. "I think I was meant to." That night, they sat by the fire again, but closer than before. The cold outside didn't reach them. Luke knew something had started. He didn't know where it would go, but he knew he would not let anything happen to her. And in that quiet cave, with the stars above, a new story began to take shape. One of danger, love, and a future neither of them had imagined. The days in the cave passed slowly. Luke and REI lived simply. He gathered food and checked his hidden sensors. She stayed inside, resting and watching the fire. Sometimes they sat together without talking. It was quiet, but not lonely. REI healed more each day. Her strength returned. She walked around the cave, touching the walls, listening to the wind outside. One morning, she looked at Luke and smiled. It was small, but it stayed on her face longer than before. "You are kind," she said. "You could have left me." Luke shrugged. "I had a feeling I shouldn't." She nodded. "You listened to your heart. That is rare." They began to talk more. Luke told her about Earth, his childhood, and why he came to the colony. He had lost people he loved. The stars felt like a place to start over. REI listened closely. Then she spoke about her people, the Virelians. She said they once lived on green worlds and flew across the stars. But now, many were scattered or captured. Some still fought, but most just wanted peace. One night, a strange hum filled the air. Luke checked the scanner. A small ship had landed near the forest's edge. It had no markings. "They found me again," REI said, her voice tense. Luke packed supplies quickly. "We have to move, deeper into the hills." They ran through the night. Luke knew the terrain well. He led her through a dry riverbed and into another cave, smaller but hidden. They watched from inside as lights moved through the trees. "They won't stop," REI whispered, "as long as I live." "Then we keep going," Luke said, "one step at a time." In the new cave, REI grew quiet. She sat near the fire but said little. Luke tried to cheer her up. He joked, told stories, and even made a small flute from wood. She smiled once but soon went silent again. Late one evening, she touched his hand. Her skin was warm. "There is something I must tell you," she said. "The bond between us is strong. When I healed you, I shared part of myself." Luke looked confused. "What do you mean?" "Our minds are linked now. A soft bond. I feel your thoughts, your pain, your hope." Luke sat still. "I didn't know." "It is not harmful," REI said, "but it is deep. It is rare." Luke took a breath. "Is that why I feel close to you, even when we're apart?" She nodded. "Yes, and more." Luke stared into the fire. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he looked at her. "I don't know what comes next, but I want to be with you. I want to protect you." REI looked at him, her eyes shining. "Then we face it together." That night they stayed close. Not out of fear, but trust. The next day, they moved again. Luke remembered an old shelter deep in the cliffs. It had thick walls and hidden doors. They reached it after 2 days of travel. Inside, it was cold and dark, but safe. Luke fixed the power. Lights blinked on. The air warmed. REI touched the walls, sensing old energy. "This place has been here a long time," she said. "I use it during early survey work." Luke said, "No one else knows about it." They settled in. Luke made new tools. REI helped, learning how to shape wood and metal. She laughed once when she hit her finger, and Luke laughed with her. It was the first time he heard her laugh. Each night, they shared stories. Each morning, they watched the sun rise through cracks in stone. Then one day, REI grew sick. Luke worried. He scanned her, but nothing made sense. Her skin glowed faintly. Her heart beat faster. "Something is changing," she said. "Inside me." Luke stayed by her side. He brought water, made soup, and kept the shelter warm. After 2 days, REI sat up, her eyes wide. "Luke," she said, taking his hand. "I'm carrying life. A child." Luke froze. "A child?" She nodded. "Yours and mine. Our bond made it possible. I didn't expect it, but it has happened." Luke sat down, stunned. He looked at her belly, then into her eyes. "Are you sure?" "Yes. It is early, but I feel it. It grows fast. Hybrid life forms grow quickly." He didn't speak for a long time. REI waited, quiet and calm. Then Luke said, "We'll protect it, together, no matter what." REI smiled and leaned into him. "Then we are a family now." And as the fire burned low, the two of them sat together, holding on to a new future neither had ever imagined. Luke woke early every day. He wanted to make sure the shelter stayed safe. He added more metal sheets to the walls and fixed the door lock. He also set up motion sensors outside the cave. He didn't want any more surprises. Inside, REI rested. She was glowing more than before, her skin soft with light. She looked calm, but Luke knew she was tired. REI often held her stomach and closed her eyes. Luke watched her with care. He learned how to cook better food, using roots and herbs she liked. Sometimes she smiled and said, "You're learning fast." One day, while checking the forest edge, Luke saw a small flying drone again. It moved slowly, scanning the trees. He crouched low and stayed quiet. After a few minutes, the drone flew away. Luke rushed back to REI. "We have to be ready," he said. "They're still looking." REI touched his hand. "I trust you. We will be ready." Luke started building an escape tunnel in the back of the shelter. It was hard work. He used old mining tools to dig through stone. He worked all day and came back at night with his arms sore and clothes dusty. REI made a soft bed for him. Sometimes she hummed old songs to help him sleep. They had quiet nights together. Sometimes they sat near the fire, talking softly. REI spoke of her home world. Crystal lakes, floating gardens, and a sky filled with soft colors. Luke listened and imagined it all. "Maybe one day," he said, "we can go there together." "Maybe," REI whispered, "but this child will need both our worlds." Luke felt something deep in his chest. He had once been alone. Now he had a family. One night, a loud noise shook the shelter. Luke jumped to his feet. The motion sensors flashed red. Something was coming. "REI, get to the back," Luke said. He grabbed a light weapon he had made from mining gear. The front door shook. Then it burst open. Two strange figures entered. They were tall, with armor that shimmered like glass. Their faces were hidden. One of them raised a scanner and looked around. "She is here," the voice said. Luke stepped in front. "She is not going with you." The taller figure stepped forward. "You are human. You have no say." Luke raised his weapon. "I do now." REI appeared behind him. Her hand glowed. "I will not be taken," she said. The attackers moved fast. One tried to grab her. Luke struck first, hitting the figure in the side. Sparks flew. REI pushed her hand forward, sending a blast of light. The second figure was thrown back. The fight was short but loud. In the end, the attackers ran. One limped, the other crawled. Luke slammed the door shut and locked it. REI fell to the floor, breathing hard. "Are you okay?" Luke asked, kneeling. She nodded, "Just tired. The baby, it's reacting to my energy." Luke helped her to bed. He sat beside her all night. In the morning, REI opened her eyes. "We cannot stay here." "They know." "The ship," Luke said. "The old one at my outpost. It might still work." They packed quickly. Luke took food, tools, and the scanner. He helped REI walk. Her steps were slow. The baby made her weak, but her spirit stayed strong. They reached the outpost after 2 days. It was quiet. No one had come since Luke left it. The old ship sat behind the building, covered in vines and dust. Luke checked the systems. Some parts still worked. Others needed repair. "Can you fix it?" REI asked. "I think so, but it will take time." While Luke worked, REI rested in the ship's cabin. She sang to the child. Her voice was soft, like wind in the trees. Luke listened while he worked. 3 days passed. Finally, the engine lit up. A low hum filled the air. "It's ready," Luke said. REI stood beside him. She looked at the stars. "Where will we go?" she asked. "I know a place," Luke said. "Far away, quiet, safe." She nodded. "Then let us go." As they lifted off, the trees below grew small. The sky turned dark. Stars filled the windows. REI took Luke's hand. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For carrying me, for staying, for believing." Luke smiled. "Always." They left the world behind. A new chapter had begun. A family, flying together into the unknown. The ship moved slowly through space. Luke sat at the control panel, checking their path. REI rested in the back, covered in a soft blanket. Her eyes were closed, and her hand stayed on her belly. The baby was growing fast. They had left the planet just in time. Luke had seen other ships coming down as they flew up. He didn't know if those ships were looking for REI, but he didn't want to find out. Their journey took them through quiet parts of space. Luke chose a path with no known colonies. He wanted peace. He wanted to find a place where no one would chase them. REI sometimes came to sit beside him. She asked questions about the ship, about space travel, and about Earth. Luke told her about the oceans, the trees, and the way the sun fell on his face. She listened with wide eyes. "It sounds like a dream," she said. "It was home," Luke said. "But now, I think my home is with you." REI smiled and held his hand. One night, the ship shook. Alarms beeped. Luke checked the screen. "We're entering a rough zone," he said. "There's debris from an old war here." He slowed the ship, but something hit them. The ship turned hard to the side. Lights flashed. The engine gave a loud bang and stopped. Luke pulled the ship out of the debris field. He found a small moon nearby and guided the ship to land. They touched down with a heavy thud. "We're safe for now," Luke said, wiping sweat from his face. REI looked pale. She tried to stand, but sat back down. "The baby, it's coming soon," she whispered. Luke's heart jumped. "Now!" "Not yet, but soon. I can feel it." Luke checked the ship. The damage was bad. He needed to fix the engine if they were to leave the moon. He worked all day and night, using old parts and tools. REI stayed in the cabin, breathing deeply and singing to the child. Time passed slowly. Luke kept watch outside at night. The moon was quiet, with silver trees and soft winds. It looked peaceful, but he never stopped being alert. One night, REI called him. "It's time," she said. Luke rushed to her side. He had never helped deliver a baby before, but he stayed calm. He held her hand, gave her water, and told her she was strong. The birth was hard. REI cried out, and Luke felt fear like never before. But he did not leave her side. At last, a soft cry filled the air. A small child lay in Luke's hands, glowing with a soft blue light. The baby had tiny fingers, golden eyes, and soft dark hair. REI smiled through tears. "She is beautiful." Luke nodded, holding the child close. "She is perfect." They wrapped the baby in a cloth. REI held her and sang a soft song in her language. Luke sat beside them, watching with wide eyes. "What should we name her?" he asked. REI looked at the stars through the window. "Lily, that was the name of a flower on my world. It grew in hard places, but always bloomed." "Lily," Luke repeated. "It's a good name." The days after Lily's birth were quiet. Luke worked on the ship each morning and helped REI in the afternoons. Lily slept most of the time, glowing softly. She was not like human babies. She seemed aware of sounds and faces. Sometimes she looked at Luke with deep eyes that made him pause. "She sees more than we think," REI said. Luke believed it. After 2 weeks, the ship was ready. The engine worked again. Luke packed their supplies. He placed a soft seat for Lily and made sure everything was safe. They lifted off from the moon and entered space once more. Luke had found a signal from a peaceful world. It was small and hidden, known to a few travelers. He set the path and guided the ship forward. They flew for days. REI and Lily stayed in the back, resting. Luke took care of the ship, checked the baby, and sang soft songs. Finally, the planet appeared. It was green with lakes and mountains. The air was safe. The people there welcomed visitors, especially those seeking peace. They landed near a quiet village. The locals came to greet them. Their leader, an old woman with kind eyes, looked at Lily and smiled. "She is something new," she said. "You all are welcome here." Luke helped REI walk down the ramp. She held Lily close. The village people gave them food, water, and a small house near a river. That night, Luke sat outside. The stars shone bright. He heard the wind in the trees and the soft cry of Lily from inside. He smiled. He had once lived in silence, far from everyone. Now, he had a home, a family, and a future. And though danger might come again, for now, They were safe. And that was enough. Luke woke early each day in the quiet village. The house near the river was small, but peaceful. Birds sang in the morning, and the air smelled clean. REI usually stayed inside with Lily. The baby was growing fast. Her eyes glowed softly, and she made sounds that were not like any human baby. The village people were kind. They brought food and water. Some helped Luke fix the roof of their home. Others came to see Lily. Many were curious. A child born of human and alien blood was rare. Some feared her. Others called her sign of change. Luke stayed close to his family. He worked in the garden during the day. He carried Lily when REI needed rest. At night, he sat by the fire and watched them sleep. He never thought life could feel this full. One afternoon, a visitor arrived. He came in a small ship and wore simple clothes. He said his name was Kevin, a traveler who shared news between planets. He had heard of a human and an alien girl who had a child. I wanted to see if it was true, Kevin said. Luke was careful. We are not looking for trouble. Kevin smiled. I understand. I mean no harm. But others will come too. Some won't be as kind. REI joined them. She held Lily in her arms. Kevin looked at the baby with wide eyes. She is beautiful, he said, but she must be protected. Luke nodded. We know. Kevin stayed for a night. He shared stories of other worlds. He said some people wanted peace. Others wanted power. He warned that news of Lily would spread. Be ready, he said. You may have to move again. Luke thanked him. The next morning, Kevin left. Luke felt the weight of his words. That night, he talked to REI. Do you think we will ever stop running? Maybe, she said. But for now, we live each day. We love her. We protect her. The next few weeks were calm. Luke taught Lily how to hold small things. She laughed often. REI sang songs from her home world. The villagers built a small garden near their house. Children from the village came to play nearby. Lily liked watching them. But then one night, Luke saw lights in the sky. A large ship hovered above the village. It made no sound. It just watched. The village leaders gathered. Luke stood beside them. They haven't landed, one man said, but they are waiting. Luke looked up. We need to stay calm. Maybe they will leave. But the ship stayed for days. People grew nervous. Some wanted to hide. Others wanted to fight. REI stayed strong. We cannot run again. This is Lily's home now. Luke agreed. He checked the house, made it stronger, and built a safe place on the floor, just in case. One night, a small drone came down from the ship. It flew slowly through the village. It stopped near Luke and scanned him. Then it moved to REI and Lily. Lily stared at it. Her eyes glowed brighter. The drone beeped once and flew back up. The next morning, the ship was gone. Everyone was silent. Then cheers broke out. People smiled and hugged. They believed the danger had passed. But Luke was not sure. They came to see her. They will talk about her. Others will come. The village elder spoke with Luke. Your child is special. We will protect her, but she will face a big world one day. Luke nodded. He knew the truth. Lily would grow up different. She would need to learn both her worlds. REI said, we will teach her. We will help her become strong. So they began to prepare. Luke started to teach her about Earth. He showed her pictures and told her stories. REI shared the ways of her people, their songs, their history. Lily listened. She smiled often. She touched flowers, and they opened. She touched water, and it glowed. The villagers watched with wonder. One old woman said, she is more than both of you. She is a bridge. Luke held Lily and looked at her face. Maybe she will help change things. Maybe one day, no one will have to run. The stars were quiet for now. But Luke knew the story was not over. This was only the beginning. He had carried an injured alien girl to safety. He had fought to protect her. And now, he held the child that came from their love. He was no longer just a miner. He was a father. He was part of something bigger. And together, they would face whatever came next. Lily grew fast. Her body looked small, but her mind moved quickly. By the time she could walk, she was already speaking in 2 languages. One was from Earth, the other from her mother's home world. Her voice was soft, but her words were clear. She learned from watching, listening, and feeling the world around her. Luke built her a small chair beside his work table. She sat there with bright eyes, asking questions about tools, machines, and the stars. REI showed her how to listen to the wind, how to feel the ground, and how to understand the light. The village had grown used to her. Children played near her, though they sometimes stared when her eyes changed color or when flowers bent toward her. Some were afraid, but most were curious. Lily smiled at everyone, and her laugh was like music. One day, a group of travelers came to the village. They were not like Kevin. These travelers wore strange robes and spoke in careful words. They asked to see Lily. Luke stood in front of them. "Why do you want to see our daughter?" he asked. "We are seekers of knowledge," one said. "We have heard of the child who is born of 2 stars. We want to understand her, to learn from her." REI stepped forward. "She is a child, not a lesson." The seekers nodded. "We mean no harm, but many across the stars have heard of her. She has become a sign of change." Luke looked at REI. She gave a small nod. "You can speak with us," she said, "but only as guests." The seekers stayed for 2 days. They watched from a distance. They asked questions, but never pushed too far. They gave Lily a gift, a small ball that floated in the air and followed her around. She liked it and laughed as it bounced beside her. When the seekers left, they bowed. "She is more than we hoped. You have done well." But after they left, REI looked worried. "More will come," she said. "People will want to use her or protect her or even fear her." Luke sat with her that night. "Then we keep teaching her. We stay by her side. We help her grow strong." One evening, Lily asked a question. "Why do people come to see me?" Luke smiled. "Because you are special." "But why am I different?" she asked. REI touched her hair. "Because you are part of 2 worlds. Your light is new. It makes people wonder." Lily looked up at the stars. "Can I go see the other worlds?" "One day," Luke said, "but only when you are ready." As the seasons changed, Lily learned more. She helped in the garden, ran through the forest, and read old books. She asked about Earth and the Verilian people. REI told her about the floating gardens and glowing rivers. Luke told her about mountains, oceans, and the old cities of Earth. One day, a message came from space. A large ship was coming. It said it carried leaders from many planets. They wanted to meet the family. The village grew quiet. The elders met and asked Luke what he wanted to do. "We can't hide," Luke said, "but we can be careful. We can be clear." When the ship arrived, it landed outside the village. A group of leaders stepped out. They came from many worlds, tall ones, short ones, ones with wings and ones with shells. They all looked curious. They sat with Luke and REI. Lily sat between them. "We are here to learn," one leader said, "and to ask what future you want for your child." Luke took a breath. "We want her to be free, to grow as she chooses, not as a tool, not as a symbol." REI added, "She is life. She is not yours to use, but we will teach her to listen, to care, to protect. If she chooses to help the worlds, it will be her choice." The leaders spoke quietly among themselves. Then one said, "We accept that. We ask only to stay in contact. She may one day be important." Luke nodded. "That is fine, as long as she is safe." The leaders left with gifts and thanks. They did not try to take anything, but their words stayed with Luke. That night, he stood outside with REI. "I think the galaxy is watching," he said. "Let them watch," REI replied. "She will shine in her own way." Inside, Lily played with her floating ball. Her eyes glowed in the dark. The family had come far, from a crash in the forest to a quiet home among stars, and the path ahead was still bright with wonder.